So it's really been brought to my attention just how deep the veins of toxicity run inside of the beauty community, where I'd even go as far as to say that there's really no loyalty in it. This chick named Swoop is apparently exposing her friend who I guess made her career, glam&gore. Yeah, Mikey? Yeah, Mikey. Oh man, with friends like these, who needs enemies? Like all this time, I was wondering, like a lot of the women who were in my life, they were like, "Oh, I don't like to be friends with girls," and then I was like, I wonder why. I mean, like I have girlfriends like who I don't have any romantic interest in, and they're quite fine. But I realized that even with when I hang out with guys, when you have like interests that intersect, therein lies the conflict. And even with my guy friends, like I said, we have those sorts of conflicts, which is why you need diversity in opinions, in beliefs, in order for relationships to really work, in order for them to be tried and proven. Because if you just agree on the same things, then how can you really test loyalty? How do you really know if it's real? Now, these two beautiful young women, their relationship couldn't pass the test between the loyalty, and they both, listen, acts, misdeeds were done on both sides, and I'm not going to ignore that. But at the same time, listen, Swoop just rubbed me the wrong way. She, to a great and invariable degree, is basically just doing exactly what she accused her friend Mikey of, while at the same time claiming to be higher on the moral totem pole and the victim totem pole. My main reason for speaking out against this is because, as a member as well of the black community, I hate that self victimization thing. I hate it to the core. I want to stuff, like I posted on Twitter, I want to see the black community with impenetrable armor against petty things like words, which has cost many of us our lives of trivial matters. Glam did a lot of things, but Spanky V had no right to share this online about something that he based that about someone that basically made her career. Yes, these things were said in secrecy. These things were said in confidence. She was her confidant. They were each other confidant. Now, somewhere down the line, things went awry, and it's mostly because they had two different opinions on what the truth really is. Now, while Glam is just free and okay with just refuting what Spanky claims to be the truth, Spanky, on the other hand, just couldn't stay in a relationship, friendly relationship with someone with those beliefs. And hey, it's both of their opinions. They are two both fully grown, capable women. Now we're gonna delve a bit deeper into all of this, and please, I've done a lot of work. I had to sit through that hour-long video. Like and sub, please. Come on, God. Please, please. I'm on my knees, bro. Maybe literally, okay? Maybe literally, okay? Don't let all of this be for nothing. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, now to get into the meat and potatoes of this issue, we're gonna highlight a few things just outright to just say what went down, and then we're gonna go over different parts of this video that I timestamped so that we could really, get a good gist as to everything that's going on, right? First and foremost, Spanky collabed with glam&gore, and they were actually really good friends, okay? They spent a lot of time together. They spent time IRL, not just in the YouTube ecosphere, and they developed a good relationship. And to be quite honest, you wouldn't be too wrong to say that Mikey even, I guess you could say, created Swoop. She is responsible for Swoop. Swoop perhaps wouldn't exist right now to the scale that she is without Mikey. But now Mikey on her own isn't completely innocent either. She shit talked other YouTubers, compared herself to them. She was jealous and conceited, yes. Narcissistic, yes. And guess what? I would even go as far as to say that if you are around someone like this is not someone that you should keep as a friend. That is not someone, especially if you're not thinking like them, I guess you could say, because you don't know when it's gonna be your turn for them to talk about you. Now, from everything that Swoop said, Mikey never spoke ill about her, but nonetheless, Swoop still felt offended to some degree, just as a black woman as a whole.
So I'm going to be sharing a bunch of text messages that she sent about James Charles and Jeffree Star throughout this video, but I think it's important to first get some context with the early problematic behavior, because seeing the ongoing history of this is important, and I wish I was exaggerating, but like I could take this all the way back to the first time that we met, which was on this travel brand trip. And if you guys want to see how like the layers of systemic racism has played a part in the beauty community, I had asked the brand if I could bring a friend with me, even if I paid for the flight, and they told me no, that I couldn't have any guests. So imagine my surprise when I arrive and I see several white influencers, Mikey being one of them, who had their boyfriends, their husbands, their friends there, but I was not allowed to have a single guest.
Okay, first point we're going to address, right? Well, first and foremost, they did bring, like she showed in the screenshot right here, there were other black women there aside from her. Bro, I don't know, you could call it what you will, but I'm pretty sure that they didn't tell you that you couldn't bring a friend just for the simple fact that you were black. And if you did bring a friend, what do you think would happen? That they would just bar you from the event? I'm pretty sure that there is a high possibility that those other white creators, you know, that you had to point out their skin color, that they were white. Perhaps even some of them even brought their significant others or friends just simply because they wanted to and they didn't give a damn, or they didn't even care to ask. They just did it nonetheless. You understand me? There's so many things that just could have gone into the big pepper pot that created all of this drama and beef and you feeling victimized, but instead of really investigating what's really going on, you just outright cry out systemic racism, which doesn't really do anyone any service or anything like that, at least in my opinion. I don't know how well it's been going for you, but hey, cheers.
We're just defensive and so annoyed. Why do people keep talking about cultural appropriation? And saying that these people of color who were trying to educate them about it didn't know what they were talking about, and that cultural appropriation isn't racist. I don't know who needs to hear this, but cultural appropriation is culturally insensitive at best, and also on that whole list of microaggressive racism.
Bro, how entitled and crazy do you have to be to believe that nobody is entitled to partake of anything revolving your culture? Like, I remember when Adele dressed up in like the Bantu knots and dressed in like Jamaican colors, and everyone was getting on her case for that. Like, how crazy? Who do you think that you are? The entire premise of culture is extremely fluid and is ever evolving. So for you to say that nobody else could partake, or even in some degree resemble another culture, is extremely, I'd even go as far as to say segregationist. Okay, it's segregation, because you're saying that, oh, you can't look like me, you can't talk like me, you can't act like me, because you're not me, because you don't look like me, you know what I'm saying? Because you were born differently from me, which is the same thing that black people has been fighting against for the past, I don't know why they're still fighting for it. I feel as though we're actually in a good place in society, but back when these things were like a serious problem, when black people couldn't even go leave outside their homes because, hey, you could be the next Emmett Till. Listen, those things are actually a concern, they're actually a problem. But to now cry this out just because people, hey, may appreciate something about your culture. I've even seen some circles that try to claim that locks, like it is a black people thing, right? And yes, nowadays I feel as though you see predominantly mostly black people wearing locks, but back in the day when people used to live and only bathe once a week, if they were lucky, those clumps of dirt and grease in their hair formed natural locks all the time. It didn't really matter what sort of hair texture you had. You understand me? It didn't originate with black people. It's a human thing. Is that then cultural appropriation, or being a culture vulture for you to just snatch something up and then say that it's mine, it's only mine, and you can't use it? What sort of childish? It's so frustrating. What sort of small-minded mentality is this? And see where I come from, there's something called the black crab syndrome, where you have something and you hold it tight and you don't let it go for nothing at all. Just like how if you've ever seen a crab, a snow crab, a sea crab, or whatever, when they close their fist, their biter, their claw, you understand me, it's really hard to let go of what they have. And that's where the term originates from. And that's essentially what's going on with all the things that, oh, you want to look like us, you want to talk like us, you want to be like us. Bro, get out of here. Who do you think you are?
She even tweeted a lot about claiming to be the victim of racism while dragging women of color. Like, there are so many of them, I'm not even going to bother reading them all. I don't know why after 400 years some people still don't get it, but here we go. Racism equals power plus prejudice. Take 2 seconds to research and you'll learn that the idea of race was invented by white people in the 17th, 18th century to justify the forcible enslavement of African people by separating and saying white people are more valuable and more human than black people. Like it was written in the Constitution that we're 3/5 a human. By categorizing us by race, white people invented a system of power, a system that you, Mikey, have benefited from your entire life. So no, you are not the victim here. Now, can you experience prejudice? Sure. Discrimination? But racism? I'm sorry, you're gonna have to sit this one out.
Okay, yeah. I didn't want to mansplain or anything or talk over her, so I allowed her to, execute a point to completion. She said everything she wanted to. Let's just start out right. White people did not create racism, okay? Racism is a fact. It's a human nature. Evil at that. I know. Despicable at that. I know. Everyone goddamn knows this. Nonetheless, it's literally human nature to reject foreign bodies, to not like people that doesn't look like you, because it's supposed to be a defense mechanism. Thankfully, because of knowledge and the lack of ignorance, we could bypass it and know that, hey, you and I are the same. We could be 2 different skin colors and be of the same, and be extremely akin. We could be of the same kindred flame. We could, work together. We could be our brothers and sisters keeper. We could love each other. We could live in a world where we are at peace and doesn't necessarily see color. Even though she says that not seeing color is a form of a microaggression of systemic racism, but hey, I choose not to see color. If I talk to someone, I talk to you as an equal, not as a black person or a white person or Asian person or a native indigenous person or a Hispanic person or and the like. And wait, let me make sure I give full diversity representation: Middle Eastern person or Indian person or Chinese person or Asian person. You could go on and on. Pacific Islander person. You could go on and on. But I choose not to recognize that you're a human being. You're my equal. Okay. We were both born on this planet. We were both given a task to just survive, and we want to be happy. So let us just be that without having to interpret all those other things. Now, you're saying that it's racism and all those things, right? When the Huns invaded Europe, when pagans invaded Europe, do you think that those people cared whether or not you were innocent or not? As long as you look remotely like their enemy, remotely like a foreign body that poses a threat to them, you will be mercilessly killed. You could be a refugee coming from a foreign land. You will be mercilessly killed. We're talking about a time in human history. This is the same human history. Same humans that burned women on a stake just because someone accused them of practicing witchcraft, when in actuality they were probably just bitching, moaning, complaining that the woman didn't really want to sleep with them or didn't like them or didn't love them or something like that. The same human history as that. And now you feel as though racism and all those different things are just a recent pretense of black slavery. That's another bout of arrogance, okay? Not only to mention that, hey, Asian people, Hispanic people, Italian, other like European sects, when they came to the US, they were victimized, okay? People looked down at them. People held prejudice against them. You just said within yourself that racism is power and prejudice. Now, you just said that someone experienced, that you could experience prejudice, but not racism. But racism is power and prejudice. So if someone has power over you and expresses prejudice against you, isn't that still racist? What the hell are you saying? Are you saying that powerful people aren't prejudiced towards... It's impossible for a powerful person to be prejudiced towards a white person? There are racial slurs for the majority of subsects of human beings on this planet. Let's just say that outright. You're not special just because you're black and you could have a victim party. And that isn't doing anyone any good. You're not a hero. You're an antichrist. And I'm calling you out.
disgusted me, where she said, I have had several women of color tell me they don't want me to help them at MAC because I'm white and can't help them. You're saying whites can't experience it, I'm saying I have. Number one, if your definition of racism is that a woman of color said you can't help her over some makeup, then I don't know what to tell you. But number two, calling out and dragging women of color, saying that they are racist against you, like, I don't think she's ever stopped to realize, and it is a privilege.
I have the mansplain this one, bro. I don't even give a fuck what she's about to say right now. This has me so fuming. Do you know what would have happened if a white person did that exact same thing that those customers did? They didn't want a black person to put makeup on their skin because you wouldn't understand. Bro, that would have been everywhere in the news, on the media. Those people would have... Those women probably would have lost their jobs. Like the way that this political climate is going at the moment right now. Okay? And guess what? Mikey, not Mikey. What's this girl's name? Swoop. Yeah, Swoop. My bad. Listen, I'm not saying I forgot your name to be like offensive or anything. This is just, I just finding out about you. So yeah. So basically, she said that racism is power and prejudice. No, that's not true. You could be a broke, poor person and be racist. I know many black people who hate white people. Much more so than I know white people who hate black people. Maybe because I surround myself with people like myself, I can see a lot more of their flaws than the other way around. But I know for a fact there are black people that hate white people to their core. And albeit they haven't been done anything wrong personally by white people, they've just been raised to think that way. So basically, this is Mikey's experience. She's detailing her experience. And you're then invalidating her experience because you feel as though... Because it is a dick measuring contest, like Mikey said. Because that's all that you're doing. And that's all that she did as well. She's just as guilty of it as you. But you're, like, the same time, you're just as guilty of it as her. That's all this video was. And that's all Mikey ever did. This is my first time ever seeing this chick or knowing about her, so I can't really say if she ever did this even more so in the past, but I'm telling you for sure, that's what she did. That's what she's doing right now.
Privilege not to have to realize what makes up those situations. I cannot tell you the number of times I've gone to a makeup store or any store, looked around and saw, oh joy, they didn't hire one single person of color. This has been society's way of telling us not that we can't help you, but that we won't help you. So when a woman of color walks into a store and sees no representation, she's once again being told, we don't care about you. But instead of maybe empathizing with that, you take publicly to Twitter to accuse women of color of being racist against you?
Yeah, because, black people can be racist. Didn't you know that? Yeah, it's called reverse racism when they're racist, which is good. Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah. Bro, let me tell you this, and I'm telling you this right now. I don't know how you're gonna take this, but in my own experience, the most racist people I've ever encountered in my life has been black women. Because I think mostly because they're most vocal about their opinions, and we as guys, we just don't give a damn. Like, I'm just gonna be real. If you're a dude, we just stay in our own lane. If you're a white dude, we just stay in our own lane. If you're a white chick, we probably wanna bang you. If you're a black chick, we probably wanna bang you. You know what I mean? That's just how we view the world. But with women, I feel as though women are a bit more analytical because they care more. We don't see women care a lot about like social cues, social pretenses, their perception society. As guys, bro, we don't have like the leeway to do that because it's a little bit hard on us because we don't have as much of a support system. So we have to like be mostly on our own. So it's like we have much more important things to worry about. You know what I mean? So it's like, and the main imperative is to have a family. So we have to really prepare for that. We really have to work our asses off to be in a position to facilitate that, because at the end of the day, that's driving in our minds 24/7. Every time a guy he wants to bang a chick, that's his body subconsciously telling them that, hey, I want to make a family. Every time a guy wants to make money or impress a girl with his money, he's basically doing the same thing a bird would do when they make their nest nice and pretty and bring a lady bird back to it, for those same reasons. We're not all that different from animals in that respect. But with women, they're a lot more complicated than us in that degree. Now, Now, what she's saying is actually a bit selfish because she's saying that only black women should have representation. At least that's what she said because she didn't mention anyone else. And albeit it'll be virtually impossible to get 100% diversity in every store. So ultimately, someone is going to suffer. But she just doesn't want it to be black women because that's all she care about. Whenever I hear people talking about minorities on Twitter, they always say that, oh, I'm not speaking for anyone else. I'm only speaking for black people. And that's just selfish because they're not even acknowledging other people who, although may be a slightly different skin tone, they experience the exact same thing as them. And they just don't care because everything is selfish. And I don't even think the goal is equality. It's just to complain because you aren't where you want to be and you're trying to make excuses for you not being where you want to be. And it's sad. It's pitiful. And I try my best not to make that mistake. That's why I blame myself for everything. Even if it's a situation out of my control, I think about ways where I could have gained control of my own situation, not anybody else's, my own. But yeah, I guess the whole fact that the country is 60 to 70% white, that doesn't mean anything because even though I myself am only a part of like 6% of the population, I deserve equal representation as everybody else. You understand me? You know what? You're a white chick, but you want to work in a Mac store? Nah. Those spaces are reserved for black girls. Okay. Never mind that. Just go find somewhere else to work. Like, you understand how crazy that is? Bro, I'm just dumbfounded. I'm lost for words because these people don't care about anybody about but themselves. You understand me? If you care so much about that, why don't you make your own beauty brand and hire up on all black staff? People don't understand this, don't they? It isn't because nobody wants to see us everywhere we go. There's so many external factors and forces at play. Some of our own issues. Perhaps it may indeed be on the part of the employer, but I feel as though to a major extent it's because we are a minority. So we're gonna get the minority get the representation either way we splice it. And if you fight for anything more than that, then it wouldn't really be equality because then we just wanna be, I guess, get accurate representation. So if we were getting accurate representation, then that would be ultimately 13% straight across the board, wouldn't it? But nah, people want more than that. They want to be equal representation, is what they're saying. And at the same time, while I'm not opposed to it, just know that you're not truly fighting for equality. You're fighting for equal representation. Equal representation is not proportional representation. Proportional representation is fair. Equal representation it varies. But in this sense, it just wouldn't be fair and it just wouldn't be practical. I don't even think it would be possible. Ultimately, of obvious reasons, because we're a minority. You know what I mean? But that's enough. Let's go on to the next point.
Like, it's not always about you, Karen. Don't villainize women of color to make yourself the victim of something you don't understand and benefit from. And, like, I'm not arguing if she's ever felt discrimination. Like, we all have. But this isn't like being picked last on the makeup team. Like, you don't have to think about your color every single day of your life like we do. Like,
you're only thinking about your color every day of your life because you choose to. And if you don't, you just said that would be systemic racism to not see your own color or to see other people's colors. You said that, okay? Like, my God, dear God, what's wrong with these people? What's wrong with these people? Okay, like, I want to respect you so much. I want to take you seriously so much. But how can I take you seriously when you don't even take your own point seriously? Okay?
I want to ask her, like, have you ever been told to bleach your N-word skin or dye because you're just trying to be white but you'll never measure up? Because I have. Have you been told by brands not to wear your hair natural because it looks ghetto and they won't hire you? Because I have. Have you been told to take your monkey-looking ass back to Africa? Because I have. I've sent you those screen grabs, but you continually ignore that.
Now, I'm gonna be real with her, like, right here, right now. I can understand what she's saying. And they're terrible, despicable, and nasty things. But like I told my friend who I was discussing this video with prior to filming this, if you're really gonna let some insignificant dumb fuck sitting down in their basement, most likely fapping to your video as you speak, make you feel less of a woman, then I don't know what to say about you. I don't. That is what truly disgusts me. Because you should know your worth. You're a successful, beautiful, intelligent woman. Well, I presume, intelligent woman. I have never interacted with you. I have never watched multiple videos of you. But from what I'm telling you, have your head on right and tight. You can't be worrying about insignificant things. You should be worrying about the things that pays you, the things that actually matters. Not one or two people talking and saying these things on the internet. Hey, it may even be 1,000. But nonetheless, keep pushing forward. I personally have heard these things all the time. Guess what? I was on, okay, let me give a little story. I was on Omegle. My friends, we were having some fun. These group of dudes drinking beer started calling me all the racial slurs ever in the world. When I was playing CSGO, the same thing happened. And you know exactly what I did? I didn't cry. I didn't get upset. I made friends with them right after. We talked. We had a good discussion. And everything was alright. You understand me? I didn't let those things define me. I didn't care about those things. They could look down on me as much as they want. Or they could just be making jokes that they feel as though are insignificant. But I'm never ever gonna let someone make me feel as though I'm less than I am.
Says this. It's tough because from my perspective, I feel like you won't get handed shit right now on YouTube specifically unless you're a minority in some sense of the word, be it anything but white or part of the LGBT community. She literally, in essence, just told me that white people have it harder than minorities and the LGBTQ plus community, and that our success are handouts of all things. Like, imagine a man telling a woman that she's likely only successful in business because it was handed to her. While
I mean, hey, this is why I have a problem with those gender and racial quotas, don't you think? Because, hey, you must have this XYZ amount of women working for your firm. Yeah, these are laws in different places in the world, in different states. These now, while they vary, they still exist. Do you know many black people are given platforms and jobs just because they're black? And I hate it. No, I don't hate on their success. I hate on the fact that people think that we're so insignificant, so incapable of doing anything for ourselves, that we need the help, that we need diversity and all those things. And of course, black people are the ones who are calling for it, because they are the ones who are gonna benefit, because they feel as though in some way, form or fashion is gonna benefit them in the immediate sense. When in actuality, they just end up disappointed because it doesn't. And let's be real, and this was a black woman that pointed this out to me, that the top of the beauty community, which is centered around women, are men. Now, I love James Charles. I like his content. I like him as a person. I like his character. Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, I don't know them. I've never watched their videos or anything. Shane Dawson has been in a lot of controversy. Well, all three of them has been in a lot of controversy. So I can't really, say that I take any side other than James. Okay? Because, like I say, I really fuck with him. But I strongly believe that if they were straight white men, they wouldn't have been getting the exact same traction what they had. See, let me show you what it is. Success is preparation plus opportunity. I feel as though the lifestyle that a gay man would lead is way more conducive for a career in this sort of field, because they're gonna be all in tune, bro. They're gonna know about these different things, and there's a stigma around straight men being involved with like too engrossed in like beauty and things like that. So hey, a gay man is gonna have more societal leeway to be more involved with these things. They're gonna have a persona that connects with more women, which are the primary demographic of this industry. You understand that? So it isn't anything from the point of, hey, this is the gay man or at the top of the community and it's homophobic or anything like that. It's just the fact that it is gonna happen. At least if it's ever gonna be a man at the top of the industry, it's gonna be a gay man. More likely, it's much more likely to be a gay man, right? But Where Mikey's concern comes in is the fact that it's a man, period, because she feels though industry where the primary demographic is women, the people spearheading the industry should also be women. Do I agree with this? I can understand it. I don't really care enough to have an opinion on it. But that's just what it is. It isn't because they were gay or anything like that Mikey had a problem. Mikey just had a problem because it was man. Because they were men. Now, is it misandry? Hey, perhaps. I don't know. I don't care. But I just pointed it out as it is. It isn't necessarily because they're gay. It's just because they're men. But now it's because that they're gay that they can be men. I have it much easier than a straight man to also have those positions of power within this industry. It makes it easier now because, hey, don't get me wrong, these people work incredibly hard. I just want to say that. I don't want to be any confusion. They work seriously incredibly hard. And I'd even go so far as to say that they are business geniuses to reach the heights that they, whether it be through controversy or stirring up drama or whatever they do to keep themselves on top. They do a damn good job at it. And hey, I don't even think that I could. Perhaps I could do it, but I don't even think that I could do it if I were in their shoes, bro. I don't even think I could. So hey, you have to give credit where credit is due, but at the same time, you can't just be stupid and oblivious and be so sensitive that you refuse and you choose to be blind to all of these different factors that has made their career. Now, I want to challenge you real quick. What do you think would have happened? Do you think that these men would have still been at the top of the industry if they were straight? Like, let's just be real. Or if they were hyper masculine. Let's be real. They wouldn't have. They would not have. And the fact that there is zero straight men at the top, especially in the YouTube sphere, that's enough evidence. All Mikey did is she looked at empirical data, grouped factors from like individuals that are dominating the industry, and then she made an analysis based off of that. You don't have to be homophobic. You don't have to be a misandrist and to come up with these decisions. You don't have to be a bad person to think that, hey, maybe something isn't so right about a guy leading an industry that is built on women, on the hard work of women, in the words of my female friend. You understand that? Okay, thank you.
Knowing she's getting paid less and getting discriminated against because she's a woman. Messed up, right?
Yeah, because the gender pay gap totally exists, and it isn't just because women chose lower grossing jobs than men. Yeah, it isn't because of that. Whatever. Yeah. And that was complete sarcasm, by the way, if you couldn't tell. I'm just so exhausted after spending, I don't know, maybe 4 hours on research and filming all of this. I love you guys. Just know that.
I'm going to keep reading because it unfortunately gets worse. So she says, but everyone else, apparently YouTube has pushed in recent years after the era of the Tyler Oakleys and Joey Graceffas have been minority or not straight. To say that everyone else that YouTube pushes has been minority or not straight, we all know that that's a lie. It's a lie. That's just... There is nothing true about that statement. I'm just saying, to be honest, it's tough for me to weigh in with practical advice there because from my own perspective, I feel the same thing from the opposite side. This is what gaslighting looks like. I don't know how tone deaf, how blind, how entitled someone has to be when a minority comes to them and says, this is so much harder for us.
Who do you think you are? Listen, everything that she just described was basically my reaction and thoughts towards her. Hey, just because I'm a minority, I'm entitled to the victim card. You cannot put your finger on the victim card. You cannot use the victim card. You cannot even look. No, you must not even smell. No, you must not even taste. You must not even acknowledge the victim card. That's basically what she's saying. When in actuality, hey, like I said, ask yourself the question. Would James Charles and Jeffree Star still be, and Shane Dawson, and anyone else who I don't know, would they be at the top of the beauty industry if they were not gay? Please answer my question. Bear in mind, YouTube did not give them anything. YouTube did not handpick or select them. It was based on their own talents, but it was because of their factors. The same way how a woman would love to see another woman taking care of her in the mock shop. Yeah, like she said, right? Or and like she said, now it even goes beyond that. I want to see a woman with my same color. In the mock shop, because they keep pushing the goalposts even further and further. So now Jeffree Star, James Charles, all of them, they have they're very talented, they're very committed, right? But it was because that they are quite feminine. That's the reason why they were able to make it in this industry and be such titans in the industry. And it isn't because YouTube hand delivered them their prize, their crown. It was because the people, the fans, everyone watching just loved them so much. Perhaps it was even a shock. I think that actually was my opinion initially, that it was the shock that, hey, a man can like this. It was like it started off like a spectacle thing. But as people began to respect homosexuals more, then it was like, hey, this dude is a real person. He isn't a clown. He isn't no circus ride or anything. He's talented. He's funny, charismatic. He has good products. They do drama. All the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson and all of those. They do their drama. They're really good at it. They're actually really good at applying makeup. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep watching them. These are people that have been around for a really long time. And what has happened is they snowballed in popularity because those gay men, they have their circles, their friends, and they help each other out. They're very caring towards each other, at least before, as of late, when all of this, James Charles, Tati, and all of those, when the beauty community went public as an eating sore that basically has zero loyalties in it. Before that was the case, and the whole guys was that, hey, these people have been on YouTube for many years. Okay, now they're coming and they're helping out each other, and that's how they propelled each other to their success. James Charles was just the youngest face, which is why I personally believe that he was the most fit to spearhead this new era in the beauty community, and that's why he's at the position he's in right now.
Saying what these struggles are since the dawn of time, or the last 400 years. I'm going to continue reading because, again, it still gets worse. I feel the same thing from the opposite side, where I look at two of the most controversial ever beauty gurus growing rapidly. She's talking about Jeffree Star and James Charles. These are the two that she talked about all the time. One of whom does content no better or more clever than my own and has less talent and does less of the work himself. She's talking about James Charles, and he still succeeds most likely because the difference is they're both gay men. It's hard for me to put into words just how up this is. Not only did she invalidate my experience as a minority woman, but then she also diminishes the LGBT.
I just want you to notice how she keep interjecting, like she did. I say interjecting, interjecting her status as a minority black woman. Bro, she does this so much in the video that I really wish I had the time, or just an editor, to just detail and just count every single time she does this. It's so exhausting. I don't know if you could hear it in my voice, but I'm completely drained from how I was at the start of this video. Okay, where do I begin? It's not because they were gay that they're successful, but the fact that they are gay was a very important factor in getting them where they are. She keeps bringing up the fact that she's a minority. She doesn't care about James Charles or anything like that. She just feels offended, and that's the reason why she's coming after her friend who gave her everything that she had. She's saying that friggin' these are homophobic undertones and passive-aggressive statements, when in actuality that's not the case. She doesn't even give a damn that they're gay. It's just the fact that she's man she doesn't like, because it's supposed to be this whole thing just supposed to be a women thing. Talk about gatekeeping and segregation, but that's just how the industry is. I'm gonna skip further ahead just a little bit to the next segment.
about us, if she was willing to say these things to me in my pain behind closed doors, what more could you possibly be saying about those of us who aren't even your friends? And like, let me remind you once again, this is a conversation that started with me saying I'm in a very serious depression in relation to my color. So in that state of mind, I tried to push back a little bit and I said, I kind of wish, but the overwhelming majority of successful and largely pushed creators still are white. Still what's predominant on all media, authority, casting, and what's celebrated as beauty. Let's not forget the standard of beauty that has been set up in our society is what? It is white, blue eye, blonde hair. It is literally everything that Mikey is. That's a great privilege. It must be fun, but that ain't me. And like, don't even get me started on that. Women who have a darker tone than I do have it even worse, if you can imagine what that must feel like. And after saying all of that, she responds with this. I think I meant... I'm sorry, she did mention this to me several times in the past. She says, I think I mentioned this, but Peter has heard from several actor friends of his that they're being turned down repeatedly for roles because they're essentially too white. That Hollywood is mostly only looking for ethnically ambiguous now. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to get through this because this is just, wow. She repeatedly liked to feed me this lie that Hollywood is apparently only hiring minorities and that white people can't get jobs in Hollywood. I don't know if she's saying we're taking their jobs. So I decided, since this was brought up in so many conversations, that it was time to have a read. So I'm going to go ahead and look up the Hollywood Diversity Report. Now the Hollywood Diversity Report.
Okay, just had to make sure that was for 2019 that she's looking at.
Now the most laughable thing about this is that it breaks it down into two categories: white and everything else. So here are a couple of breakdowns when it comes to movies. So for film leads, meaning the lead actors in a film role, 20% of them are minorities, so you get to fight amongst that yourselves, minorities, while 80% are white.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to put it there. I didn't, just basically all of the stats that she used basically fall along these lines. It's like between 7 to 20% minority, the majority, everything else white. And hey, basically all that she was saying is, pick me, please, pick me, pick me, pick me. She wouldn't have had a problem if she was, the one enjoying the privilege. Like she said, it would have been a great privilege to enjoy. She probably would have been like Mikey. I think that she would have been even worse than Mikey because the way she is now. They say that being disadvantaged is supposed to humble you. It's supposed to humble you, but she's just one of the most arrogant, narcissistic women I've ever came across on the internet. Now, I'm gonna be real. This is from 2019. I'm telling you now, in 2020, have you seen the Oscars' new requirements in diversity to even receive the award, the Hollywood Film Awards? Bro, these things, like, they're basically forcing people to put, like, the people of different diverse backgrounds into movies in order to get the awards. Hollywoods have taken steps towards these things and looking for more minorities because they don't want things to be mostly white. These big corporations, of course, they exist to virtue signal for the favor of black people. Now, I'm just being real with you, dog. Of course, there's still going to be the majority of white people, but this very disingenuous for to look in 2019 and say that those stats are still relevant today. Not that I think that it's a bad thing that black people get not equal representation. Hey, I don't even care if you get equal representation, dog. Do whatever you want. My minimum requirement is proportional representation, but equal representation, whatever. If it doesn't hurt nobody, let's get it, okay? But we can't just remain willfully ignorant that, okay, this is a predominantly white country. Don't be an idiot. You could be promised diversity as much as you want. Everything is still going to be predominantly white. When you see advertisers using mostly white women on posters, allowing there to be mostly white women inside these fashion magazines, what else do you expect? If a population is if a certain demographic is 60 to 70% of the population, right? These women supposed to appeal to both women, but mostly men. You know what I mean? Like when you advertise women, it's mostly supposed to be something that the man would find appealing, even if it's something for women, it still have to be appealing to men, the men that it's targeted towards, because men basically decide the standard of beauty. Okay, that's our power, that's our ability as the opposite sex. The same way how women decide the standard of beauty in men. You understand me? That's just how it works. It's an antagonistic relationship where you do us, we do you. Okay, take that how you will, right? But so therefore 70 60 to therefore 60 to 70% of men in this country are white. So what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna mostly appeal to the white man because he is the majority male. Now, of course, other ethnicities are still gonna get their representation, but of course, it's gonna be significantly reduced. I'd say that hey, the most other races don't even get the near the same screen time, and representation as black people. I can tell you that for a fact. Okay, of that 19% we saw on screen, of that 19% that we saw on screen, I'd say probably 15% of that is black people, without a shadow of a doubt. Whenever you see someone talk about diversity, it's always with black people, and they always forget the Hispanic people, the Asian people, all because the victim card always is predicated on how dark your skin is. That's all it's about. Not the fact that maybe racial or ethnic backgrounds may have caused you to be disadvantaged because, generational type of wealth deficiency sorts of things or something like that. You know, all this woman is doing is basically saying that, hey, I don't have it, so I'm mad. Other people who look like me don't have it, so I'm mad. Okay, it throw it entirely out the window that if I just keep working, I could get it with time, or encourage people to work for it, to earn that spot, or so that it could be so much more rewarding or something like that. No, ain't no meritocracy here. White people are given what they are given because of their skin color, and we're being withheld from our right because of our skin color. Oh, God. These people kill me, bro. These people kill me. Oh, and here's something coming up that's gonna be quite tasty to take a look at. Take that as you will.
Any more opportunities for you now, then let me ask you this. Would you willingly become black?
Hey, I mean, if we're talking about blackface, then hey, I say a good measure, powerful white people would have wanted to be black. But in all seriousness, bro, what sort of stupid ass question is this? Why would you ask someone to forsake their own skin color? That's like asking a black person if they want to be white, or telling them that would you want to be white, or something like that. Like, that's just stupid on the whole. It's insensitive. And not just insensitive, it's just alright. Why would you ask someone if they would want to abandon their identity? You know how stupid that is? Like, I'm not even one to like bash someone on this level because, I don't want to be mean to the girl. You know what I mean? I don't want to be mean to this woman. But that's just stupid. It's stupid. Jesus, now we're gonna skip ahead to quite further on in the video because she just repeats the same thing over and over in the spaces that I avoid.
Star on his channel and reaped all of the benefits of using him on his channel.
So I have been a fan of her work for a long time.
And Jeffree had never appeared on her channel. Now, I don't know if there was a scheduling issue there, but I do know in private that she told me that she could and would never have Jeffree on her channel because he's too controversial.
So it was an honor. Thank you so much for coming on here.
But you had no problem using him for his audience.
If you guys are not already, subscribe to Mikey's channel.
And I think she got like 80,000 new subscribers from that. But you're still trashing him behind the scenes. And the thing that...
Yeah, she mentioned that 80,000 subscriber thing a lot of time. Listen, the amount of times that she repeats the same thing over and over and over further cements the fact that she doesn't care about the fundamental issues of this matter at all. Her only concern is that she's being treated unfairly, in her opinion. Okay? Never mind that she's, I'd say, doing well on YouTube, in my opinion, even though it's a niche. It isn't exactly the most, I don't know, I'd say profitable niche because it's very limited and it's very cutthroat. It's kind of like being opening up a small tech company. Like YouTube is a mogul, right? They have Google, they have everything underneath their thumb. They're extremely powerful. Now you have a company like Storyfire that comes up. Of course, it's gonna be extremely hard, and I don't think that they will ever rival YouTube in size or scale or anything like that. That's just essentially how it is in the beauty community, because it's more like you make intriguing content, people look for those things, but they're still only going to be limited. Whereas something like what I'm doing, the commentary community, it always focus on like trending topics and stuff like that. You're always going to be, that's why it's so fast to grow in here. Even though I've been being a little bit inconsistent with my uploading as of late, which I shouldn't have. But yeah, I'd say that it's better here than it is there. So maybe she might have some difficulties that I'm not seeing at the moment. I wouldn't mind sitting down and having an earnest conversation with her, because I feel as though out of course she's not a bad person. I think that she's just a little bit misguided. I'd say that Mikey is actually closer to a bad person, but at least she's honest with herself. Mikey is self-aware, and Mikey doesn't give a damn. Mikey has much more integrity than her. So, if for me, what is right and what is wrong in this world is so blurred and so murky, especially how human beings and our perception of each other and ourselves evolves over time. It's so hard to just tell what is right or what is wrong, aside from the obvious things that everyone knows should be avoided or is wrong. But beyond that, I can't really focus on the right and wrong, but I had to really focus on the quality of character. And this woman's quality of character is just straight rotten. Just straight rotten. You understand me? And she only cares for herself. And she virtue signals that she cares about other larger issues at large. Yeah, she basically keeps says me, or Jeffrey James Shane, so that people don't think that I'm only talking about me, but also me. Ugh, come on, dog, come on. Jesus Christ, I can't take it no more. And listen, basically everything that happened here is just what happens within a work relationship. Yeah, you could talk behind your coworker's back. You understand me? That's what people do all the time, but at the same time, you still have to work with them, right? You still have to do what you need to further your career, right? You think all those times people sleep with their superiors or whatever, be it male or female, and you think they like that? You think that they want to do that, or they do what they have to do in order to succeed in whatever their industry is, to see their goals come to fruition? That's just how desperate things can be sometimes, bro. And you poking your nose, you need to keep your nose in Swoop's business. Okay, keep it out of Mikey's business. Okay, if you don't want to talk to Mikey, if you don't like Mikey, then go your own way, please. God damn it. Okay, now we're approaching the final stages of the video. Are you ready, guys? Are you ready?
Communications was over this tweet that I made about a creator who I didn't name. Here's what my tweet said. That moment when you realize someone you thought was a good friend considers herself more valuable, worthwhile a person because she has a higher sub count than you. Now, a couple of people had responded to the tweet wondering if maybe it was about her. So I get a long text from her, and from what I could tell, it was just that same.
Not to mansplain, but she basically is doing the same thing, but because she has a higher victim count than her friend. My victim count is higher than you, so therefore you can interject with your own personal experiences or opinions. You only must listen to me and oblige my feelings and ideals, and there's nothing else in this world that's correct except for me. Okay, if you think anything else and you're just a bigoted closet misogynist who just fantasizes about self-harm and would never ever understands the struggles of a black woman, never mind that we don't get killed and gunned down in the streets by police and our fellow black men alike, and even when we do, we blow it way out of proportion. So hey, we are the center of all the atrocities in society, not black man. And guess what? If you point out the fact or the incongruences and how people respond to when things happen to black men and when things happen to black women, then you're just a racist. You're a misogynist. You're playing the all lives matter card. Like, do you understand how fucking idiotic that is? Do you really understand? Huh? Do you understand what it feels like to be able to have bleach thrown on you and people just laugh? That person not even face any penalty about it. That person sexually assaulting you in a train, sitting down on you. Nobody believes you. Do you know what it is to go to your parents when an older female comes to you, assaults you, and then your parents, your sister doesn't even believe you because you're a guy, or you say that you took too long to talk about it or whatever. For whatever reason, people never believe guys. They always believe females. You know how many men have been placed in prison? Hey, guess what? Men are shitbags, okay? Many men do very terrible things, mostly to other men. But at the same time, instead of tackling those issues that are have men homeless, dying, doing drugs, committing suicide, being imprisoned in droves, no, dog. It's all about women, dog. Hey, perhaps I'm only making this video because I have my own internalized trauma that I'm trying to project on other people, and I'm no better than Swoops. But hey, I'm now better than Swoops because I just identified it in the video, should that be the case. Nice going, guy. I may not even edit this out. So hey, if you heard this, leave a fuck abysmal down in the chat. Yeah.
Gaslighting format again. She starts on my side saying, hope everything's okay, but then it shifts and she says, sorry that the overlap in our audience has some speculating, but it makes me uncomfortable you haven't publicly denounced the speculation, so it just allows people to continue to think maybe it's about me. So I realized that this was just a damage control thing that she's doing here. I don't think she actually cares about what I may be going through, but then she pushes it further by trying to
this is why I don't do anything nice for anybody. This is why, aside from my friends who are going to be bound to me by contractual agreements, that's why, aside from my intimate close friends that I wouldn't need anything from, I would never
confuse me. Here's where the gaslighting starts. Unless you haven't denounced it because it is about me, in which case I wouldn't even know where to start there, since I wouldn't understand how that applies. Meaning, well, this couldn't possibly be about me because that wouldn't make any sense at all. I'm saying this assuming it must...
Yeah, this couldn't be about me because I made your career. I gave you a platform. I felt as though I was a really good friend to you, aside from things that I said that you didn't agree with. I pretty much treat you pretty well as a friend. I know you didn't like some of the things I said, and it's just my opinion, but you don't care about my opinion, you only care about your own. But other than that, yeah, I couldn't possibly think that it was about me because I thought you were my friend. I gave you your platform. I mean, I didn't say that. I never threw it in your face that I gave you your platform, but I did. So I just can't imagine it.
Not be about me, but in which case it makes me uncomfortable, and like the reality is, because you injected yourself in this, you just made it about you.
It was always about her. Shut the fuck up.
The thing is, so many times people in powerful positions try to manipulate or dictate what the smaller person does on the...
Bro, she gave you a platform. You're supposed to be friends. She's not telling you to disavow it. All she's saying is that if it isn't about her, please disavow it. She's not telling you what to do. She's asking you, coming to you as a friend who has done everything for you. Aside from, hey, said some things that you didn't agree with, she's coming to you and say, hey, I'm getting a little bit of backlash for it. I'm getting a little bit of hate for it. Can you please, take care of this if it isn't about me? And if it is about me, damn, I'd be surprised. But hey,
their own platform, that I should denounce my own followers on my own Twitter. It's amazing that she could exemplify what my tweet was about in her response to my tweet. Like, I can't imagine she'd ever go to James Charles or Jeffree Star or Nikki Tutorials and tell them to publicly denounce comments on their platforms that she doesn't like.
But I presume that if she said something that wasn't about them and they asked her to disavow it, I think that there's a actually fairly good chance that she would. However, I am gonna say that she didn't make those people careers. They made her careers. That's why she'd be entitled to be more loyal towards them. Hey, maybe not behind closed doors, but at least publicly. Unlike you. God damn it, you could have complained about this to whatever significant other friend you have. You didn't have to broadcast it to hundreds of thousands of people online. Like, what in God's name is wrong with you, woman? That's why people don't do anything for people. That's why, listen. You think that people hate women? People don't hate women, you know. I'd say that, yeah, people do fear women. Because guess what? You guys are very powerful beings. I don't know if you realize it, but it's like, yeah, man's power may be in the physical, maybe in the material, but as it pertains to social matters, you guys have all the friggin' power. It only takes one word from a woman to ruin someone's entire life, livelihood, world. Everything could come to ruin just by one word, one sentence, one accusation from a woman, dog. So that's why people stand to stay clear. Even other women, they surround themselves, they have their guy friends, they with the bros, or even guys who are not giving women as much attention as they used to on the job, so that women could, elevate and get promotions and stuff like that, because you guys make it difficult sometimes, dog. You can't, and you can't confide because it's supposed to be a secret. Confiding to you in secrecy, and instead of just cutting connections, you then make a video on it that you're gonna profit off of. No, this video doesn't have a single ad on it, but you know damn well the traffic is gonna benefit your channel, and you're gonna get hella subs from this. Somehow you still have an overwhelming like ratio on this channel, on this video, so you probably won't even feel after effects about it unless Nikki makes a rebuttal video for it. Not Nikki, Mikey. Fuck. I'm so tired. I'm tired. Please, let's hurry up finish this. I think we have like 5 more minutes.
So if I had 5 to 10 million subscribers, would she be pressuring me on this? I don't think so. And mind you, I had texted her a few days before, just checking in, seeing how she's doing, and I didn't get any response. But like, I didn't...
Because you just said it was about her. Bro, she just said that it was about her. She just said that she probably came out and talked about her on her Twitter. Now she's gonna get angry. She's about to get... Let's watch this, ladies and gentlemen. She's gonna get angry because her friend didn't respond to her after she made these claims on Twitter about her, after she was shady about her. Let's see it.
Complain about that. But the moment she doesn't like something, I hear from her, and she expects me to instantly respond and do something that she wants. That just played off this ongoing narrative where she had made it clear on several occasions that my time apparently wasn't as valuable as hers. And I've tried to talk to her in the past about how much she confuses me, but she wouldn't listen. So I took a pause and I didn't reply for a few days, and when I did, I got no response. I reached out a month later saying, hey, been a lot going on, how are you? No response. I texted a few days later to congratulate her on her relationship and genuinely trying to say I'm happy for you, and I got no response. I reached out one more time a couple months ago. No response. It was very clear that because I didn't do what she wanted and denounce a couple people on Twitter, that she had just scrubbed our entire friendship after 2+ years. And that hurt, especially after seeing her continue to be friends with people like Gabby, who she had nasty fights with, or with James Charles, who she couldn't stand and talk shit about, but she could use them. And here I was, after all of the pain that I had been through, after the stuff she said about minorities and racism and LGBTQ+, I was still trying to be friends with her like an idiot. And I got radio silence. And so I had had it. Another thing that just kind of pushed me over the edge was this text message that I received on the day that I released my film Worthy, which I put out just a short while ago. Now, that was a really personal film about mine and my family's experience with racism, and it was something that I wanted to contribute to the Black community to hopefully uplift people. And there was a section in there where I referred to an experience that I had with a white influencer. I have had a white influencer friend tell me bigoted, oppressive things, and the same person turns around. Okay. This is a very serious film. I'm not gonna laugh at that. I'm just laughing at that clip right there. How should I say, the hypocrisy and all of this in that. Listen, Mikey has never brought anything to public about how she really feels about anyone. She keep a good face on for the work, for the camera, about James Charles, all those people, even though she harbor resentment against them.
This was a good friend. She never spoke out anything personally against her. She disagreed with many of the viewpoints that she had. This woman has twice already called out shade against a friend that has done everything for her. Everything. Well, I'd say mostly everything. It's cool though. It's cool though.
Around and posts about what a great ally they are for Black people and an ally they are for minorities. And I received a text message from this guy. Now, this was someone that she used to date and is now best friends with, and I hadn't heard from him in many, many months. Now, I didn't open the text message right away because I didn't want yet another day where I am trying to share about my Black experience for them to make it about her. I didn't want to be gaslit about this. I didn't want to be...
Why do you keep making... Stop mentioning this woman, please. If you don't like her, stop talking about her, bro. We don't give a fuck about your experience. If you can keep berated with the same person over and over. Listen, I can see if you talking about experiences from other people. Listen, it isn't true if it only happens once. It has to happen a lot of other times. You saying you go now what I'm saying is bad and bigoted just because I don't agree with what she's saying. Oh my god. Okay. Just shut the fuck up, okay? Stop talking about this woman. Alright? I was hard to sit through an hour twice. Are you talking bullshit, bro? I'm tired of you. You have made me not care about your experience. You have made me not even care whether or not you exist in this earth. I don't give a damn who Swoop is. And I can tell you right now, I don't give a fuck who you think you are, who you think you will be. I don't care the color of your skin or what. Let me just drop this truth on you right now. You made me so angry that I have to drop this truth on you right now. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Aside from probably your mom and dad, maybe brothers and sisters, maybe one or two friends that you could count on two fingers. Aside from them, nobody gives a fuck about you. Nobody gives a fuck if you live or die. Nobody gives a fuck about your content. Nobody gives a fuck about anything about you, bro. They're gonna mourn, they're gonna virtue signal, they're gonna say that, oh, she was a good girl, oh this, oh that, and then in actuality, none of this even matters. You're gonna wither away and die, and nobody's ever gonna remember you. Because the people that have a faint recollect, that'll have to be reminded that you even existed after you're gone, is gonna die someday. Stop focusing on the trivialities of life, and there's so many beautiful things in this world to explore. You making money, you're in a position that I am jealous and envious of. I can't wait. And guess what? Do you know what that is? That jealous and envy, that doesn't make me hate you, you know. That makes me inspired by you. That makes me want to be like you. I don't want to be you. I want to be like you. Maybe I might never be as big as you. Maybe I might surpass you someday. But I'll never hate you because of where you are in this world. And I'm never going to hate someone just because they say something I don't like. I could disagree with it violently. Violently as in, like, I verbally saying that, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like that. But I'm never going to try to deplatform someone because of something that they told me in private messages unless that was threatening my life. You are a sorry excuse for a human being. And you have much less integrity than Mikey, who you have accused of racism, homophobia, and all those other things. I don't know how anyone could ever trust you to be their friend ever again after you shared these private text messages that were meant for only secrecy, for you, only your eyes. For you to say these things is crazy. And I hope that someday you could find peace and live with yourself. But it certainly won't be today as I post this video. Guys, this is a crazy video. It was supposed to go on for a little bit longer than this, but I just can't take this shit no more. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos about trending topics, news, politics, sports, all the like, you know. Get ready. And basically we're making the Cleaning Crew brand into an organization where it's gonna be like a lot more it's gonna be a lot more channels coming. So hey, and be ready. Because we're coming back bigger and stronger than ever. With an army at that. Can't forget that. Now this has been Abysmally NT. Signing out.
Sawdust, what's good? Yeah,